I knew.
Cross-legged position. All right, so nice and tall. Everybody, use shoulder rolls here just to kind of ease up some tension. So if you feel this in your neck and shoulders a little bit, let's roll this out. All right, I'm going to sit tall, and I want to breathe deeply. I want to focus on an inhale, the rib cage expands. Exhale, the rib cage contracts.
Hey, buddy.
Here. One more breath cycle here, sitting tall, navel to spine. And then leading with the top of your head, we're going to draw a big circle, scooping out a space around us, allowing the chin to tilt with this. I'm going to take ear to shoulder, chin forward to chest, ear to shoulder, and chin up. Let's take one more circle around this direction. I'm going to bring it back to the top, and we're going to change direction. So inhale, circle, exhale, around. Nice and slow. Take this at your pace. We're not trying to get dizzy here. And let's take one more circle all the way around. I'm going to end at the top. And then once you're at the top, scoop your belly. Lean forward into your hands. So I want to think about keeping that back really straight and tall. So if you're kind of rounding through the back, just straighten out the back, lean into the hands. And then as you can, come forward into the elbows. Still trying to keep your heart lifted, keeping your chest up. Now I'm going to stretch my hands forward, and now I'm going to round the back. So I want to really scoop my belly, round the spine. I'm going to keep a little bit of pressure on the floor as I drag these hands in, sitting up one vertebra at a time. All right, so I'm going to lean back, and I'm going to change my top leg or front leg, so depending on how you're sitting. And this time, I am going to lean into my hands. So I'm going to start by taking a nice deep lean. I want to be able to look under this arm, so if you're rounded forward, open that elbow up. Then I'm going to drag this around, a little ragdoll, other side, and up and over. So I'm going to take that lean and circle. Give your side body that little chance to just kind of stretch and open, breathing deeply. We'll end at the top with this direction, and we'll take it back the other direction. So take an inhale, exhale, and up. Now, if my breath cues don't go with yours, that is totally okay. I just want to make sure that you are not holding your breath. And one more, and we'll repeat that little forward lean. So I'm going to bring it all the way around to the top, and resetting that tall posture, lean into the hands or into the elbows. Or if you're feeling really stretchy, those hips and thighs are nice and warm, you might be able to go down even deeper. Just try to keep the back nice and tall. I'm going to stretch the hands forward, press and round the back. A little bit of pressure on the floor as I drag this in, scooping the belly, coming up one vertebra at a time. Nice and tall, shoulders back. All right, I'm just going to grab some notes. I want to make sure I get everything. All right, so if you have a strap or like a belt or a scarf, you are more than welcome to use that. If you don't have one, you can just use your hands. So we're going to go into a 3-point stretch, so supine position. So I'm going to start off by laying back, nice and slow. So just take a moment here. You can adjust whatever you need to adjust. And I'm going to start by pulling my right knee into my chest. So as I pull this right knee in, I want to think about stretching this left side out. You can move this right knee through this little stretch just a little bit if you'd like. Now, I'm going to unfold and bring my nose toward my knee. I want to think about this length down the back of the thigh. Now, this is again where I want to engage my quadriceps. So just like we did with the previous little leg straight sets, I want to think about kind of pushing my knee back and really tightening these quadriceps. And I'm going to lengthen and pull this leg toward me. You can add a little point and flex. You're going to feel a little different intensity. All right, so I'm going to lay my head and shoulders back. I'm going to bend my knee, just soften it just a little and take it out to the side. So I'm doing all this without the band first, just to kind of get the little stretch. The band is going to help us take this just a little deeper. Now, if you want to, you can extend that leg, stretch it just a little longer. You can take your hand to the inside and press it down. Make sure that you're breathing instead of holding your breath against any of those stretches. All right, I'm going to bend the knee and I'm just going to bring it across. I'm going to go about halfway. Left hand comes across the right knee, and I want to make sure I'm keeping my right shoulder down. So I'm going to take this across just a little bit, and then as you're feeling like you can keep your shoulder on the floor, maybe take it over a little deeper. You can take your hand under the knee to support. You can extend that leg for a bit more stretch. You can also take the hand and pull this leg across, but I still want to keep this right shoulder down as much as I can. Bend the knee and come back to center. All right, so we're going to do something called PNF stretching. So proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitative stretching. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull with my hands, and then I'm going to push my leg against my hands. So if I were to let go, my leg would pop out. So really think about this kind of oppositional forces here. So push, 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 push. Now see if you can lower that leg a little deeper into your stretch. Hold it here. Let's do another push-pull. So I'm going to push as hard as I can against my hands, pulling my hands against my legs. So really actively pushing, and then see if you can lower it half, quarter inch more. All right, so I'm going to bend the knee, and I'm going to bring my strap in. So if you have a strap, you can make the loop. You don't have to make the loop. That's totally your call. I'm just going to make the loop so I feel like I can kind of tighten it up a little more. And I've kind of been dealing with a flexibility issue on my right side, so I feel like I might need just a little more support. All right, so I'm just going to loop it around my foot, and I'm going to keep my head and shoulders down for this one, and I'm going to pull this leg into the stretch. So my foot is flexed for right now, and I'm just going to pull this in, thinking about the stretch through the back of the thigh. I want to keep my abdominals strong and engaged, pressing toward the floor, shoulders relaxed. Now you can do some of that PNF here as well, so you can kind of push into the band and then relax into it a little deeper. And this is where you might see just those little gains, those little bits of progression with that stretch. All right, so now I'm going to slightly bend my knee just to start it out to the side. All right, so you can use your band or your loop to kind of hold the leg as low or as high as you want it to go. But if you're feeling pretty good, you can use that loop to even pull it down. So I'm going to grab out here. I have pretty open hips, so I can kind of get these nice big open straddles. Keeping that belly drawn in, shoulders are relaxed. Think about breathing into that stretch. If it feels a little tight, maybe ease off and then back into it as you can. Take a break if you need it. Now I'm just going to bend my knee and I'm going to pull it across. I'm going to switch hands and I'm going to choke up on my loop just a little bit. I'm going to keep my right shoulder down. So just like we did before, I'm going to ease this leg across. And then if you feel like you can, straighten that leg. Now I can use the band to support it, or I can use it to pull it down just a bit. So you can kind of play with those even. So kind of ease on and off. Make sure that you're still breathing through this. Very easy to take those shallow breaths. I'm gonna bend my knee and come back to center, and one more time, lengthen. Now, let's just take a little glute stretch while we're here. So I'm gonna bring my left leg in, and I'm just gonna cross my ankle to my knee and work on pushing that leg out. All right, so getting just a little deeper, pull that leg in, little thread between the figure 4 and the outside, and pull on the left leg. Now, if you wanted to, you could even straighten your left leg, little point and flex. All right, so a little cow stretch here. And this one, I find for me, I can only tolerate it so long. So it's a really big cross. You're crossing your knees like you would be sitting like a lady. So I'm gonna grab my right ankle, I'm gonna grab my left ankle and kind of pull them across. So just pulling in and across. This one's kind of a pretzel-y kind of stretch. And if it bothers your hips, you can ease off of it. You can go back to that little figure 4 glute stretch. All right, so let's just unwind, set your right foot down, left foot is gonna cross. I know we haven't done the left leg yet, but we're here, so this feels good. Maybe we'll do these again. All right, bring it in. All right, so left leg is not nearly as tight or maybe stretchy as your right leg, so it might not be feeling this quite as good as the other leg did. Now a little cow stretch. If you want it, you can also take your figure 4. All right, so I'm gonna extend my right leg down, and I'm just gonna start with this left leg, just like we did before. And this leg might feel a little tight. So bending, straightening, and we are different on each side. We're different from day to day. Scooping that belly toward the floor. Now I'm gonna bend my knee slightly, lower this leg out, and I create just a little brace, just until I get that inner thigh, that adductor, kind of woken up, a little bit of stretch.
Yeah, I'm losing it again. My internet's going in and out.
What's that?
My internet is going in and out.
Oh, boo.
That's all right. I'm staying hanging in
there. Good, okay. Extend this leg if you want a little more intensity. We're keeping the left shoulder down, so we're taking that right leg across. Knee can stay bent. You can extend. You can pull this leg a little deeper across if you'd like. And bring it back to center, and we're gonna unfold. Lengthen out through the back of that leg. And let's go ahead and bring our loop in. Either your strap or your band, whatever you have. And work on pulling this leg toward us. So keeping this super straight line. Quadriceps are active. Hamstring stretch. And if you even need, you can do a little bend and straighten. Hamstrings can be a really tight area for a lot of people. All right, so I'm gonna keep so this is my left leg, left hand is gonna lower this out to the side, and I can use my band to either support and lift, or I can use it to pull and actually increase this stretch. Now with this, I wanna keep my right hip and leg just really anchored to the floor instead of rolling over with. All right, so really stable core position here. I'm gonna bend the knee and pull it back to center one more time. Big stretch. I did not do the PNF stretching on this side, so let's just lose the band for a moment so I can get some of that. So I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna pull into that leg as I push that leg, push, 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 and then see if you can lengthen it just a bit. Let's repeat that. Let's keep that right leg down. So push that left leg into those hands. So really kind of like you're trying to wrestle with each other here, wrestle with yourself. And relax and see if you can stretch just a tiny, tiny bit more. All right, I'm gonna lower the head and shoulders. I'm gonna bend that right knee again with that little glute stretch. And then I'm gonna bring it in, thread my hands through. There's that figure 4. Lengthening. Little point and flex even if you'd like. All right, little cow stretch, so cross. So basically like you're trying to cross at the knees. I'm gonna grab my ankles and gently pull. You can pull them in, you can pull them kind of apart. Just increasing that stretch just a little bit, and this might feel a little better than it did last time. All right, so I'm going to release. I'm gonna get that other side one more time, just so we're nice and even. So starting off with just that little stretch, knee open. Thread your hands through, pulling that left leg in for a little more intensity. You can extend, you can point and flex. Oh, I'm cracking over here. And cross for your cow stretch. One more time. Very nice, Jen. All right, guys, hug the knees into your chest. Little back massage. While we're here, let's get some inner thighs. Let me see what time it is first before I get too crazy on some of this stuff. All right, we're okay. All right, so we are going to take the legs up nice and long, and we're going to do a little 3 cross and then a really big open. So I'm going to point my toes up here and flex my feet up here. So it's a 3, 2, 1, flex and open. Just take it open as far as you can. Then we'll lead up with the other foot in front. So it's a 3, 2, 1, flex and open, 3, 2, 1, flex and open. Try to keep the shoulders relaxed and low, and 3, 2, 1, flex and open, 3, 2, 1, and give yourself one more. We're gonna hold those legs out in a really big straddle. So I'm gonna lift up just a little bit, and I'm gonna take my hands and press and open. So I have pretty good open hip flexibility. If you're still up here, that is totally fine. I want you to really think about kind of pulling maybe up and down. So when I say up, pulling up, and you can point and flex the feet if you'd like. You can lift the head and shoulders. You can leave the head down, whatever you'd like. Now I'm going to bend my knees, help them together, and pull this up to the top. How we doing?
Hey,
Oh, I'm sweat now.
I see there's still some people with us, so that's good. That's very good. All right. So we are going to go into a little seated forward fold. If you have blocks, let's have those nearby, because we are also going to go into just a little bit of split training. You do not need to have your splits. You can just kind of alternate between the 2 stretches that I give you. But we'll have these nearby. So for this first one, the seated forward fold. So I'm just going to give you a modification first. I'm going to sit on my block, and I'm just going to let my left knee kind of relax, and I'm going to lean forward. So as we go into the seated forward fold, a lot of times it feels like, oh, I'm going really far, but your back is hunched forward. So what I want you to think about is leading with your heart. So think about projecting your heart forward, and you might not go quite as far, which is totally fine, because I'd rather have this stretch, and you can flex your foot and take that lean. Keeping your belly button drawn in tight. Now I'm up on the block, but if you don't have a block, or you're on the floor, or you can even take a little towel and kind of roll it up like a bolster is in yoga. And I'm leaning forward. And I find too, sometimes if I kind of move some of the extra out of the way, I might go a little further. Leaning, leaning, leaning. Now, go ahead and allow yourself to just kind of melt forward and stretch. You can point and flex, scoop the belly, keep breathing into that stretch, guys. Now I'm going to bring this up nice and tall. Just float it in for a little butterfly. We're going to take the other side. So starting off either with your block or without. So I've just got my right leg folded in, left leg. So I'm going to start by projecting my heart. So it might just be a small lean here to get us started, and that's totally fine. Breathing through that stretch. I like to think about breathing into those tight spots, just kind of focusing on that area, really feeling that tension, trying to send my breath there. Easing down bit by bit as you can. If you're still up here a little higher, that's totally fine. Listen to your body. Now I'm just going to take that little round forward, bringing it nose to knee. So we've just done our single legs. Next up, we're going to do both legs forward, so you'll get to feel all the intensity at once. Bringing it up, little butterfly, just to even them out. Oh, which dog is that, Zeddy?
This is Raz.
Oh.
And he'll probably like crawl on top of me because he weighs 140 pounds.
He's a lap dog,
Yeah.
twice as big as you are.
He's my old man.
All right, guys, so we're sitting up tall. Both legs are stretched out, nice and tall. Let's start with a really big inhale. So instead of rounding at the back, I want you to think about scooping the belly and taking that lean forward. Might just be a little bit. Keep reaching, keep that belly drawn in tight. See if we can go just a bit further. Don't hold your breath here. Looking good, Michelle. Flexing those feet.
Yeah.
Let's take it, round it forward, nose toward the knees. Feeling that stretch down the back of the thigh. Okay, so I know some of you guys can do pancake, and we're going to go into this little straddle stretch. So we're going to start off with our butterfly. We're going to open up. Hey, Raz.
He's trying to figure out where the
Look under.
trying to figure out where the noises are coming from.
All right, so I'm going to extend my legs out. Now, if you don't have a super wide straddle, totally fine. Take it out as you can. Now, one thing I find here is this little bounce, little shake, little wiggle, just to kind of ease up what's happening. Now, before I was telling you to tighten up your quadriceps, this one I would say let's try to relax them just a little bit. So sometimes a bounce, a little wiggle, if you feel a little hitch in your hips, that can help. All right, so just finding a straddle as wide as you are okay with to start just a little pelvic tilt forward and back, forward and back. And go ahead and tilt it slightly forward. I'm going to keep my back tall. I'm going to lean into my hands. All right, so we're working down to the elbows. So if you feel like you want to go forward, come down into your elbows, keeping the legs long. Now, I want to keep my knees and toes pointing toward the ceiling. So if they tend to kind of roll forward, I want to think about kind of actively twisting them back. So really keeping them strong. And here your quadriceps are going to be somewhat active, helping with that twist back. And if you kind of go between here and here, or if you're just here, sitting up tall, making this the best stretch that you can, that's totally fine. All right, before we go down to pancake, let's slide this right hand toward the right foot and take a nice little side bend stretch. Leaning over. So if your legs are a little further forward than mine, you can take your hand behind the leg and take that stretch.
Put that right into your browser.
Yeah, he's laying on my pancake.
Just do stretch, buddy. Is Raz a boy?
Raz is a boy.
Okay, for some reason I was thinking Raz was a girl.
Yeah, this is Rasmussen.
Oh, okay.
He's named after a triathlete.
Okay. Keep it
Of course.
long, side body stretch, and we're gonna bring it up nice and tall. Get ready? We're gonna take it to the other side. So slide that hand up to your foot, either the inside or the outside, and take that little side bend stretch.
While you're facing
Rotating those knees and toes up toward the ceiling. Breathing into the stretch, guys. Think about relaxing, releasing some of this tension. And then we'll bring it up nice and slow. All right, so give those legs a little wiggle, a little shake, a little bounce. And I'm gonna come forward again. So I'm coming into my hands, into my elbows. And if you are not quite there, but if you have a block or 2 blocks, you can always stack them in front of you and support. So just coming forward. So I want to keep my back really straight and tall. And as you feel like you can go down a little deeper. And then if you're feeling pretty good, think about bringing your belly and chest to the floor, okay? So if you're not here today, don't worry about it. Just come up and where you can. And if you're still up here, rocking those hips forward and back, you're making progress, guys. All right, so those of you who are down in your pancake, peel yourself out. Coming up nice and slow, I'm gonna lean back and slide those legs in and bounce. Woo! All right, so we're gonna come over to our knees. And I might go just a little longer than I said because that's typically what I do, sorry. I'll be on time, but I might go a little late. I figure a little more pie is better than some pie, right?
No pie.
Let's have all the pie today. Okay, guys, so I'm going to step forward. So I'm on my knees. I'm just going to step forward with my right foot. I'm going to start with an easy little lunge forward. So I'm on my knee. So with this one, and I'll turn around, I want to think about the hip flexor stretch. So I'm leaning forward into this. And if you have blocks, I would set them on either side so you can place your hands nice and tall. So let's also think about keeping our posture really tall. The tendency might be to kind of lean into this front leg. Let's keep it really tall, shoulders back, sending your breath into this front hip in case it's a little tight. All right, so now all those hamstring stretches that we just did, we're gonna do some more. I'm just gonna shift my hips back and you can point and flex. Now I'm using my blocks for support. If you don't have blocks, if you have maybe something, books or I'm not even quite sure, I'm looking around and I don't have a whole lot around the deck, or if you have a ball or something. Now, I like to also add a little point and flex and an internal and external rotation with this one, because these muscles, they wrap all around the leg. They don't go straight up and down. So kind of twisting and getting into some of those little tight spots. Now I'm just going to move between those 2 little stretches. So hamstring stretch and hip flexor stretch. So this is our split prep. And you can take your time. You can stay with these stretches. And if you feel like you want to attempt it, you're going to take that leg out a little further. So a little more of a half split. You can take and stack 1 block or 2 blocks under that front thigh. Stretching it out. You can use it for your hands. And this is the side where I'm kind of struggling with a little flexibility injury maybe. Coming down into that split as you can, breathing. Yeah, I think this side is not going to happen today. All right, so if you've gone as far as you can go or want to go, I'm just going to lean into one hip and just kind of peel myself out. If you are in your split, keep it really tall. If you can lift your arms nice and high. Beautiful, Jen. All right, let's go ahead and come around to our knees. I'm going to sit back for the child's pose, and here's where the blocks are kind of nice because you can let your hands rest and you can stretch through those arms. And we come up, get ready for the other side. So starting off in this kneeling position, I'm going to step forward with my left foot. So coming into this lunge, I want to think about the right hip flexors, and you can use these blocks if you have the blocks. I always like to hit the fitness section at Marshall's just to see what they've got, and even though I probably have something already,
Yeah.
I will.
But they might have it in a different color.
Yeah, well, you need extras, you know. Sometimes you need this to set your phone on.
That's thanks. I have mine right now on one. Yeah.
So they're very useful for many different things. All right, shifting back, taking that hamstring stretch, a little flex and point.
Starts part-time is coming.
Internal, external rotation.
Right now, they're
Keeping
not.
the belly button drawn in tight. And I'm just going to move between those two, just stretching forward, pushing back.
What department is she in? Yeah. And I think it just depends on the hospital. I mean, Jean's orthopedic.
All right, and so from here, you can stay with that or work on leaning into that stretch just a little deeper, going into your split, going into part of a split, supporting yourself with a block if you like. You are different on each side, so one side may be your good side, one side is your less good side, we'll just say that. Keeping it tall. So through all this quarantine craziness, let's not lose our flexibility. Let's keep everything really strong.
If I get my splits, I'll just call them the Corona splits.
Perfect.
Well, you know, Corona means
Crown, yes. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm just gonna ease out of this. Woo, bring it around. Shaking it out. All right, how we doing?
Oh, good.
Okay, good, good.
Let's flip it around to our belly. We've got just a couple more things I want to do with you guys, flexibility-wise. So we're just gonna do our back. So we do a lot of like forward flexion in Pilates and those little hamstring stretches and things that we were doing on our back. So we're gonna come out to our belly. And I'm just gonna lower down nice and slow. And so from here, I'm just gonna slide my shoulders down. So like you're sliding your shoulder blades into your back pocket. I'm going to extend my legs, and I want to think about keeping my legs active all the way out through the toes. And just right below the shoulders. And imagine that there's maybe a zipper from the top of your head, and as it's unzipping, you're just going to lift and come up. Does not have to be high. I want to think about shoulders down and lower with control. All right, so if you need a little more support, you can slide your elbows forward and just come up, and you can have a little more support from your elbows. All right, so otherwise, hands are back here. We're going to inhale, exhale, peel, sliding the shoulder blades down. So scoop your belly, keep it strong, keep it tall, and lower with control. Let's do that a couple more times. We're going to inhale, exhale, and peel, shoulders back and down. You might get a little higher with each one. Listen to your back, lowering with control. Let's do one more like this. Inhale,
And I really
exhale.
don't understand that. There is nothing that important.
We're going to lower, nice and easy. Give yourself just a quick little release for the hands, the arms, the wrists. All right, so we're gonna go into a little bit of a bow. We're gonna go to a bow pose, not a little bit. We're gonna go into a bow pose. So I'm gonna reach back, right hand for the top of the right foot,
They can wait.
reach back,
There's no
And
reason that those people
left
are.
hand to the top of the left foot, and I'm just gonna lift my knees off the floor, lift my shoulders and chest, and pull through my hands, keeping it tall. Inhale,
No, but.
exhale,
Your
down.
cafeteria this year, parking lot this year.
Again, we're gonna inhale, exhale, lift, hold here, keep the breath moving, open through the shoulders and the chest, knees are up, and we're going to lower. We're gonna get one more. We're gonna inhale, exhale, press and lift, shoulders back, guys, scoop that belly, knees are up, and lower, nice and easy. All right, I'm gonna release my feet, press back into your child's pose. Take your time getting here. Allow yourself to really sink, hips over heels, stretching those arms forward, big reach. And I'm just gonna come slightly forward. We're just gonna get a little thread the needle stretch. So left hand is gonna stay on the floor. I'm gonna take my right arm, thread it through all the way down to the shoulder. Let your head rest on the floor. And you can use this left hand to help you to kind of push this shoulder back. So think about pushing this left shoulder or top shoulder back. And if you want, you can take this left arm, reach it up. I'm gonna go palm open.
Or Hunter, you sit.
And then drop this back. Just hug that hand right behind your wrist and open your shoulder.
Okay, they don't go to the bathroom.
Reaching it up nice and tall. Take this hand back down, unwind, and reset. Let's get the other side. So I'm gonna take, left hand is gonna reach out, thread it through, bring it all the way down to your shoulder. Let's bring our head to the floor. Using that right hand, you're gonna press into that twist just a bit. And then if you'd like, reach that arm up. I'm opening my palm, opening my shoulder. And I'm gonna turn this back and open that elbow back just a bit more. Big reach up with the right hand, bring it back down to the floor. And one more little child's pose. Turn your knees open for this one. Sink your weight back and just rest down into that space between the knees. Stretch the arms forward. Now you can rest your forehead on the floor or your chin or your cheek, excuse me.
Or just in general. I mean, sort of like a cold thing.
And I'm gonna bring it forward. Slide it up. Just give yourself a couple little rolls through the shoulders here. I'm gonna rock back onto the ball of my foot. Settle your weight into your heels, both of them. Fingertips are touching the floor. I'm just gonna lift my tailbone to come into a forward fold. One more little stretch down the back of those legs. Let the head relax forward. Shake the head no. And I'm just gonna separate my feet just a little bit. Soften your knees, slide your hands up. Let's unfold one vertebra at a time. Nice and tall. And everybody give yourself a nice deep inhale, arms up. I'm gonna drop my right arm into a little tricep stretch. I don't wanna lose my chin here, so keep it really tall. Let's grapevine your left arm, reaching in the direction of that top hand. And take a big inhale, everything to reach up. Exhale, left arm drops into that tricep stretch. You're gonna grapevine around, reaching those fingertips toward each other, nice and tall. And let's take both arms up. Big inhale up. Exhale, we're gonna go down with the palms up, pressing those thumbs back. And let's turn it and press your thumbs back, palms up. Give yourself just a couple of shoulder rolls as we take a nice big inhale. Big exhale. Nice big cleansing breath, guys. Biggest breath of the day. Thank you, guys.